Alright, so for the next part, we are going to be bending up pieces. What I typically use is a 3/4 inch steel pipe, and I have an elbow piece welded on here for doing the tip bends, but you can use whatever. You could just use pliers if you want, if you don't want to buy a separate piece, but you need somewhere around a 3/4 inch pipe. Doesn't have to be steel, could be copper. Whatever you want, just something that won't bend when you go to bend. So I'm going to bring the camera down here so you can get a beautiful crotch shot. Also, advertisement. So this glove actually goes together a different way than normal. This piece, from what I know, is actually connected before it's bent, but for the sake of the video, I'm going to bend it first. I need to take a look at how I'm bending it actually really quick. Okay. So you want to try to, unless you're purposefully trying to make it uneven like I am, you need to try to make it as even as possible so that the T-span here is gonna bend how you want it to. And then with thinner copper, you can just make a basic bend with your fingers. This is a 0.025 copper. So you get that basic bend right there. And then I use a rubber mallet. I've been using this one for a while, so it's pretty fucked up looking, but I use the rubber mallet to round out the rest of it. And if you're trying to replicate a glove, then you're obviously going to want to look at reference while you do this, but if you're just making something for yourself, then bend it however you want. So that is the initial round bend. And then you can take any form of pliers that you may have laying around. I buy pliers and I grind off the teeth. So these are smooth on the inside, so they won't leave any extra marks that I don't want. And then for the flats, I'll bend it like that. So you can bend that piece. And what I do is I typically, after that, take it, sit it on another flat piece of metal, and hammer out the flat section. So it's actually flat. As flat as possible anyway. Then I go back in and I do the bends that need to be done. A lot of tiny bends. This glove has some really funky bends to it, so you'll see me doing those right now. Pretty close, but I need to bring that out a little bit. And I need to bring this in a little bit. All right. Alright, so here is the stall all bent up. You can see that this one isn't quite as uniform as a lot of other gloves, but that's how this stall is meant to be. Now, when you go to do the tips, you're going to want to try to see where the holes line up here, if it's at an angle or, anything. And you'll try to bend the tip to match the angle or the not quite angle of the holes. This one, the holes seem to be about even, so I can bend these pretty normally. Let me check, make sure. I think the right side on that one is a tiny bit higher, so I'll bend it to match that. And when you go to bend these, it's the same as bending the stall, but when you go to the side, you'll want to not hit this section, the side section, down, or else you'll kind of make a weird, like, almost circle instead of the more C shape that you want it to look like. Let's see if that lines up, which it should. And it does. Alright. So now I'm going to bend the V-cut. What I do is I sit it on top of this, and I take my mallet, and I just gently hit it into the pipe. And you will almost definitely have to go in and do some more bending to get it to look how you want, but this is the basic bending process. So I'm going to bend these pieces to exactly what they need to be, and then I will come back and show you the brazing, weathering, and the rings.